Hi, this is Diane Peters from jcharvestinvestments.com. How are you doing today? I hope it's a great day for you. It's a little cloudy and rainy here in the Northeast. I've had such a good time and just speaking to my truths and things about my life. And I'm not using it to judge anybody else. I can only judge myself and look at and compare myself. And for me, I compare myself to God and what He says in the Bible. That is my absolute truth, and that's what I base all my truths on. But one thing I knew that I had a problem with when I was quite young was control. I don't know when it started, but I always thought that I was totally in control of everything. And I never really understood it or felt it till after I got my divorce. Then I was, working, going to school, raising my sons. And there was one period where I'll never forget it. I was trying to control a situation that really just caused me to have such anxiety. It wasn't really a big deal, but for me it really was. I think I told you I was like 50 or 60 pounds lighter. I loved wearing 5-inch heels. And I went to see this doctor. I think I told you too, I was a dancer. So at one point I tried to get up on my toes and it didn't work. So anyway, I developed a hammer toe. And for me at that point in my life, that was the worst health thing I'd ever heard of. And I remember after I finished visiting this doctor who said that he could correct that surgery, had corrective surgery for me. And this is going back to the 80s. I'll never forget when I got home from that doctor's appointment, I started hyperventilating. I mean, I'm telling you right now, I was hyperventilating so bad that I almost passed out. And I'm thinking to myself, when I look back now and I think, golly, that wasn't that serious. Why were you getting so crazy? But I realized at that point in my life, everything I was trying to control was going along until that incident happened. And then I'm like, I have to get surgery. I'd never had any surgery. And I don't know, how old was I? Like 30 something years old. It just seemed so crazy to me that this should happen to me. So I think now that was totally out of, I don't know what my problem was at that point, except for that, like I said, I thought I had total control. That hit me like a ton of bricks. Now, mind you, that was after a bad divorce, a bad breakup, drinking, out of control, going to school full time, working full time, raising my sons, doing a whole, and then including the party life I was out there. So maybe that was all adding to the anxiety of my life. But then at another point in my life, I realized, and I was 38 years old when this happened. So I guess I was in my 20s when that happened. I realized I didn't have control. And it's when I started my relationship with the Lord. It was like, wait a minute. I've always wanted to be in control. I always wanted to think that I could control every situation. And I realized by doing that, I was so stressed out. Sometimes I could barely eat. And I really didn't understand, the meaning of letting go and not being in control. And I have learned that since, but I'm just now reflecting on where I was and how I came along. And let me tell you, some of the hard things that have happened in my life really have helped me to grow and really have helped me to let go. And I heard someone say once you let go of, stop trying to control everything, you'll feel free. And it's honestly, at 38 years old, I remember I had a situation with my son in school. He was in college, and I had to deal with a situation. He and I both did, and I prayed real hard, and it turned out, a lot better than what we had expected. It was at that point that I said, listen, I'm not in control. There is a God that is. I don't need that job anymore. And it's at that point that I started the peeling back of where is this issue coming from? Why do you feel that you have to be in control? And I started this journey just uncovering, what was at the basis of me wanting to be in control. There was fear. There was, like I said, an ego and pride and thinking I was all that, which like I said, having confidence and a big ego, for me, are two different things. Because you can have confidence, but you don't, with my ego, I was kind of brass, aggressive. And like I said, my favorite line was, I don't care. I really don't care. And to me, now that I don't care mentality isn't such a great place to be. Because now I find that when I'm loving people unconditionally, not based on Diane's opinions, but based on the truth, the absolute truth, and what my Lord and Savior came here to do, was something that when I compare myself to him, I realize, who am I to put judgment on people? I have to judge myself and make sure I'm living according to what I'm speaking. Because there's nothing like somebody who's speaking about God, and then there's somebody who's religious about God. And meanwhile, I don't think that really helps you to really look at yourself. So one thing I had started doing, and I told you about that accident I had that time when I had to let go, I started looking at how I could change Diane. Because at the end of the day, that's my control. That's what I have control of. My behavior, my choices, my reaction. I'm not there yet, but I didn't, that's the realization it came to me. That's the control I have. And then at some point, I have to even let that go. I don't try to assume anything. I had one of my bosses said, assuming, what is that? When you assume, you make an ass out of you and me. I don't assume anything because I don't know. My expectations, listen, I try to keep that limited as well. I always hope for the best. My cup is always half full. So I'm an optimist in that way. But I do realize that the control starts with me. My choices that I make every day start with me. My behavior, attitude starts with me. And if I just keep my eyes on myself, on God and myself, that is enough for me to control. Anything beyond that, it stresses me out. And mind you, once I started this journey towards realizing that, I haven't had a panic attack like that since that time when I had my operation on my toes. So it wasn't like an overnight reaction. That was over 40 years ago. But it's something that helped me to realize, let go, let God. Breathe. You're free. I honestly feel free. So anyway, that's my take on control. When you let go, you have more control than you realize. Thank you so much for listening to me today. I say hi to my cousin who shouted out to me yesterday. Thank you, Deacon Ashley, my cuz. I really love you. I appreciate you listening to me, and I pray that everybody has a great day. God bless you.